Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Law Talk, a public service at the Southwest Louisiana Law Center and CBS Lake Charles. Well, in this edition we have a special guest, Wendy Aguillard, the Calcasieu Parish Assessor. Wendy, welcome to Law Talk.
Thank you very much for having me, Mark.
Well, we're glad to have you. So this episode's topic, Homestead Exemption. Who qualifies and how does one apply? Tell us about Homestead Exemption.
So Homestead Exemption is exactly what it sounds like. It's an exemption for the property that you own and live in, your homestead.
You got to own it and you got to live in it.
Own it and live in it.
Okay.
And currently Homestead Exemption is a $75,000 limit for most people, and I say that because there are some other exemptions out there, but
that's the
a
common
normal,
one.
Yes, a normal homestead exemption is $75,000.
So the first $75,000 worth of value is not taxed.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you have a $100,000 house, $75,000 exemption, you're paying your taxes on $25,000, except for city taxes,
right?
Because there's no exemption for city taxes.
Right.
This is only for your parish taxes.
All right. So the first $75,000. And you have to own it. Now, what does ownership mean?
That means that you have a deed in your name. So it could be a husband and wife, it could be partners, it could be family members. As long as those people who own the property are the ones living there, they can sign for homestead exemption.
And how does one apply for homestead exemption?
It's very simple. Once you're moved into your house, whether you built a new one or purchased one, you bring your deed and your ID down to our office at the assessor's office and sign for your homestead exemption. Very simple.
So you have to. So you got to be the owner. Generally, you become the owner by buying it, and, through a deed. Sometimes we inherit.
Correct.
Sometimes we get it donated to us. However, but you got to have the document that shows that you're the owner.
Correct.
And bring it to your office.
Yes.
All right. So when your office gets it, they'll process it and they'll grant the homestead exemption.
Correct.
And it'll be a big break on the property taxes.
Correct.
All right. Well, good to know. Important things to know. Thank you for coming and being a special guest on Law Talk today.
Thank you for having me.
Homestead exemption. If you become the owner of property, make sure that you bring your deed to the Calcasieu Parish Assessor's Office and they'll get you set up with the homestead exemption. This has been another edition of Law Talk, a public service of the Southwest Louisiana Law Center and CBS Lake Charles. And don't forget the QR code, because go to the QR code and get your questions answered. Send us your legal questions. We'd love to get them answered right here on Law Talk. Thanks for joining us, everybody.